Hello, and welcome to Fearless DIY Music. My name is Tristan Lass, and today I'd like to discuss the guitar that I'm holding right here. This is a Enya Nova Go half-sized acoustic guitar. It is made out of carbon fiber, and I'd like to talk for a second about why I became interested in such an instrument. For years, I used an A&L parlor-style guitar with a solid cedar top as my primary travel guitar. The problem with that instrument is that if humidity changes and extreme temperature changes happen to occur wherever that guitar is, it can become very temperamental. And in some cases, if it dries out too much, it becomes literally unplayable. The truss rod on it is pretty close to being loose when it's in its best, it's on its best day. So any sort of changes were nigh impossible to adjust the guitar to. So a travel guitar should be something you should take anywhere, and it should just perform for you. And that's what led me to being super interested in carbon fiber acoustic guitars. I've been watching them for years, and I've always wondered, geez, I'd really like to try that material and see what it's all about. So after a trip earlier this year where the A&L failed yet again, and it took like 2 weeks being back in the studio in a controlled humidified environment, controlled temperature environment for it to kind of settle back into being playable again, I started looking at these guitars. I picked this one up on a flash sale off of Amazon for not a whole lot. I think I paid $150 for this guitar. Including the case and all the case candy that comes with it, strap and all the good stuff. And when I got it, my mind was a little bit blown. The first thing to note on this particular guitar is that the nut is part of the overall body. The body and neck are all one piece. The bridge is also just part of that injected molded carbon fiber. The only parts that are on the guitar that were placed onto the carbon fiber frame were basically the tuners, the frets, and the saddle, and the bridge pins. Other than that, this is just one piece of material. And so when I got it out, I was like, okay, it's a half-size guitar. I'm not expecting much from it. Will it sound any good? And so I'll just strum a few chords on it and let you see what you think. I was quite impressed. It has a nice clarity to it. Every note sounds very cleanly on this guitar. It has enough low end, but it has tons of mid-range. So it just kind of like for finger picking and stuff, it just really is even. It's very even to play. Very even up and down the neck. I have had nothing but fun playing this guitar, which leads me into a deeper discussion of what is the future of acoustic guitars. There's a lot of issue in the world right now with trying to obtain decent wood to make instruments out of. There's no question that, the premium rosewoods and mahoganies of the past are the past. There are stockpiles of that wood. You can buy high-end boutique instruments or high-end Taylor and Martin guitars that are still made out of premium materials, the best tone woods in the world. But as tone woods become less and less obtainable and more expensive, I kind of see carbon fiber as an interesting alternative and perhaps a way forward. I must admit that after playing this guitar for the past 6 months, I've gotten to the point where I'm almost like ready to pull the trigger and buy a full-size version of one of these and maybe sell off a few of my, standard acoustic guitars made out of the premium tone woods. Because the stability of the instrument, anybody who's watching this who owns an acoustic guitar knows what I'm talking about. There's the endless truss rod adjusting given atmospheric conditions, humidity conditions, temperature, the change in the seasons. There's always the back and forth where it's like sometimes some of my guitars that are very, very sensitive, I almost need to do beyond truss rod adjustments on them sometimes. So, it involves shimming the bridge saddle to get it right where I want it. And the idea that I could own an acoustic guitar that I have to do nothing to and is just ready to play off the wall or out of the case or out of the trunk of the car or off of an airplane and just sit down and tune it up and go is very, very appealing to me. Tonally, like I said, this has a very good acoustic sound to my mind. I like the clarity. I like the fact there's no dead spots on the neck. It's a very even playing guitar. Some might say, oh, well then, it doesn't have character. It doesn't have, but the response to the fingers and the response to a pick, to me, having this be more of a blank slate and then allowing my fingers and my imagination to, make the tone pop the way that I want it to without relying upon the platform, informing that completely is kind of nice. It's like I said, it's almost like having a blank slate to work off of. The one thing that I like, if you hit it hard, it doesn't get weird and muffled and muddy the way that, a lot of acoustic guitars can, especially a Dreadnought. So I've really just become fascinated with, the idea of a carbon fiber acoustic guitar. Would it replace every single acoustic guitar in my arsenal? Of course not. I would always want to have character guitars that have a unique voice. But in a recording scenario, or especially a live gigging scenario where just having reliability and something I can count on to have, a true sound and to have a good ring to the notes and an evenness is just incredibly appealing. So, are carbon fiber acoustic guitars going to, replace acoustic guitars eventually? A few hundred years in the future, that could be a possibility. It's definitely a way forward. I do not see much negative about this other than a lot of people, purists and others, who just really like the sound of their particular instrument may find this to be sterile or call it sterile. But I kept an open mind going into this instrument, and as I've played it, I'm been blown away by it. And this is a half size. And I can only imagine how good a full-sized version of this would be. And I like the little features, like it's got a little sound hole right there, so you can kind of get a little bit in your ear while you're playing it. And so something I've discovered, something that I've been thinking about, and who knows, maybe in a few months or a year, I'll get a full-sized one, and we'll be exploring this topic further. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button. I do appreciate the comments I've been getting in my videos, and I would like to see more of that. If you have an experience to share, please do in the comment section. I will be sure to respond, and we can talk about this. I think it's a great way forward, and it's a great alternative. And the prices are coming down. Full-size version of this guitar I could probably find used in the $500 to $600 range. New, they're pushing closer to $800, which is a little bit much for what I think these actually are. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. And once again, hit the subscribe button, and I look forward to bringing you more content soon. Take care.